certified teacher, and this is my channel, Lew Stories, where I recount many of my experiences, both personally and at the workplace. Now, I just want to talk about that time when I was expecting my first child. I was still a very inexperienced teacher because it was in my second year of teaching, so I had to be coping with that, plus coping with dealing with the boys that I was still getting to know, because I still did not know them very well. And of course, every year you get a new set of boys. So I just remember certain incidents that stand out in my mind. I remember the boys were very, very, very kind to me. And I think that is one of the reasons why I decided to settle in that job. For example, if rain fell, there was no shelter to reach around to the classrooms, many of them. And so they would come around and they would either stand or sit if there was air, or if there's a classroom empty, And I know they were in a lot of discomfort, but they made sure that I had a chair and they made sure that I could teach a lesson. And I was always grateful for that. Because, as my pregnancy grew, my feet got larger and I couldn't wear shoes anymore. So I had to be wearing slippers because every minute they got too tight. And, I would not have wanted to walk in the rain. Every day they would offer to buy my lunch for me. So I'd give them the money and tell them what I want, to buy juice or a soda or a sandwich. I don't know why I bothered to tell them, because every day they brought back what they felt that I should be eating. For example, I couldn't get a soda or juice. Every day they brought back milk. I hate milk, but they insisted that it was good for me, and stood up over me and made sure that I drank it. As time went by, I found I couldn't catch, many times I couldn't catch my breath. And so I'd stop and pause and breathe in and out, and they'd remain very quiet and wait for me. And sometimes I just stop in the lesson because I just lost my train of thought. And the first time it happened, there was this boy who caught up on what was happening, and he started to recap what I was teaching. And so from that day, it was his job, whenever I paused, he'd start recapping so that I could remember. One of the scary things was that I could not keep my balance. So I fell down several times. But this day it was really scary. I was coming down the stairs and my shoe heel got caught on a crack in the stairs, and I fell down the stairs. It was not a long fall, but when I reached the bottom of the stairs, it was near the classroom of one of the students that I was teaching, and the boy came out. All of them ran out, but this boy held out his hand and said, "Miss, let me help you up. Didn't I tell you that one day you would fall for me?" And so a boy reminded me last week that one of the boys who always volunteered to buy my lunch, he took the money and he went, and I don't know which betting shop he went to, but the boy said he bet my lunch money and then wait until the race run, and then when he got his winnings, I don't know how that sort of thing worked out. I didn't know that could happen so quickly. And then he would buy my lunch, and then he came back. Of course, it was late, and I didn't get to eat it because it was time for class again, and I was not amused. And the boy reminded me that I was not amused. But I did not know that this was the reason he was so late. So I discovered that last week. I had a good time, and they really made me enjoy my time. You know how boys are. They'll have disagreements, and disagreements will turn into fights. And I remember the first fight that occurred when I was in that condition. I was there saying to them, trying to get the boys to stop fighting and tell the boys, stop the fight, stop the fight. And all I could, I just realized that I just felt somebody lift me up and put me in a corner, and then the boys formed a semicircle around me. And so I was there they're taller than me, so I'm trying to dare see over their heads and say, stop the fight, stop the fight, stop the fight. And of course, they are enjoying the fight, so they don't want to stop it. So quick thinking, I said, I think I'm going to faint, stop the fight. And of course, that made them make the effort to stop the fight. And then I know that whenever any incident happened, they put me in a corner. I tell them, anybody lift me up again, die. So they didn't try to lift me up ever again. So but they would make sure that I was protected. Except there was this one boy in the class. He was very unstable. We don't know what was wrong with him, but he'd just get up and say, "Cha, leave me alone, leave me alone." And of course, we don't say anything troubling him. Anyway, one day, he got up and I told him to sit down, and he didn't want to sit down, and he said, "Miss, me cut the baby out of your belly." And the boy said, "You can't do it, you can't do it." And I said, "Oh, no, shut your mouth. Don't listen to them here. You can't do it, but you mustn't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know you can't do it, but don't do it. Just go and sit down." And the boys here, "You can't do it." I said, "What's the matter with you?" And anyway, he left the classroom, which I was very relieved. Usually I'd go after any student that left the room like that, but not this time because I was so frightened. But there are also very good times. I remember the boys, anytime they found out I like anything, they would bring it for me. So they knew that I like peanut brittle, and they would bring, every boy, it seemed to me, brought peanut brickles for me. But that one stage the doctor said, "Maureen, you have a little sugar in your bloodstream that you should not have. And so be careful about eating sweet things." So I stopped eating the peanut brickles and tell them not to bring any more for me. But that didn't stop them. So every evening I went home with this old pile of peanut butter and peanut brittle, and my husband said to me, "Are you still eating those things?" I said, "I don't eat them, I just get them." So I just put them in the fridge. Those things don't spoil, and there would come a time when I would be able to eat them again. So it went on, and I stayed until I was about 8 months, and then it was Christmas holidays, and then I went on leave and didn't come back till the following April. And that's some of my story about that time. Until next time, bye.